History teaches us that the law of unintended consequences operates with ruthless precision. Nowhere is this more evident than in the dramatic economic realignment currently unfolding across the American-Canadian border, where one of the most significant corporate migrations in modern history is quietly reshaping North America's commercial landscape. From Seattle's skyline, with its iconic glass spheres and perpetual construction cranes, Amazon's headquarters still dominates the vista. Yet this physical presence masks a fundamental shift in operational gravity. The company, synonymous with American innovation and commerce, is systematically relocating its logistics infrastructure northward to Canada. Not through dramatic announcements or moving trucks, but through calculated spreadsheet decisions and strategic network reconfigurations. This migration represents far more than a routine business story about tax optimization or profit margins. It exemplifies the profound consequences when political grievance overrides economic wisdom, when policy designed to punish perceived adversaries backfires with surgical precision against the very citizens it claimed to protect. The trigger for this seismic shift was deceptively simple: a $15 border processing fee imposed by the Trump administration on every parcel entering the United States from Canada. Officially framed as national security and fair trade enforcement, the policy's true target was unmistakable. This was precision-engineered economic warfare aimed directly at Amazon's cross-border e-commerce operations, reflecting the former president's well-documented personal and political animosity toward the company. The White House calculation seems straightforward. America's market dominance would force compliance, make cross-border operations prohibitively expensive, and companies would be compelled to relocate operations domestically, hiring American workers and building American facilities. The administration believed it held absolute leverage. This assumption proved catastrophically wrong. In economic reality, unlike political rallies, all parties have agency. Canada didn't capitulate. It innovated with institutional competence that once defined American leadership. Amazon conducted a rational analysis. They observed an American government deploying regulatory power for personal vendettas, creating an environment where political risk exceeded operational costs. Then they examined the alternative. Canada, under the sophisticated guidance of economic strategist Mark Carney, recognized an unprecedented opportunity. Rather than simply opening doors, Canadian officials constructed a comprehensive framework offering what modern corporations value most: predictability and stability. The Canadian proposal was a masterclass in technocratic enticement. First, a decade of complete tax immunity on fulfillment operations, locked into federal law and insulated from electoral volatility. In America, tax policy shifts with political winds. Canada offered contractual certainty. Second, expedited permitting, slashing development timelines from years to months, replacing bureaucratic red tape with red carpet efficiency. The decisive stroke, however, lay in customs protocols. Canada established dedicated freight infrastructure connecting Vancouver ports directly to new Amazon facilities, subsidized by provincial governments. More brilliantly, they created a pre-clearance system, classifying shipments under existing trade frameworks predating Trump's tariffs, agreements the administration had overlooked in its haste. By the time packages crossed the border, they legally existed within the American market, shielded from the punitive fee by the very treaty structures the United States. Canada played sophisticated chess, while America wielded a crude sledgehammer. The mathematics became undeniable. Operating from Canada, even with additional shipping distance, proved cheaper and safer than managing the political chaos of American operations. This confrontation illuminated contrasting leadership philosophies. Trump-style governance viewed economic policy as punitive theater, using threats to command submission, assuming American power made compliance inevitable. Carney's approach recognized that capital is fundamentally risk-averse. It doesn't require cheaper labor or better weather. It demands certainty. By eliminating political risk and guaranteeing regulatory stability, Canada became the path of least resistance for a company programmed to optimize efficiency. This development should deeply concern anyone invested in American competitiveness. We're not losing these operations because of inadequate workers or obsolete technology. We're losing them because our politics has become a liability. When corporations choose to route products hundreds of miles across international borders, rather than navigate American governmental unpredictability, that represents a devastating vote of no confidence. While trade warriors operate from insulated Washington offices, consequences devastate actual communities. Consider David, a 42-year-old fulfillment center worker in Kent, Washington, who spent 8 years building stability around his $23 per hour Amazon position. This wasn't glamorous work, but it sustained his family, paid his mortgage, and provided predictable scheduling, allowing him to coach his daughter's soccer team. 6 months ago, David's world began deteriorating. Warehouse sections went silent. Managers quietly reduced shifts. Corporate euphemisms about restructuring and optimization preceded the inevitable. His overtime vanished, his paycheck dropped $400 monthly, and the economic vitality that once pulsed through his workplace was systematically siphoned to unreachable locations. Across the border in Surrey, British Columbia, Jasmine, 31, just secured employment at a newly opened facility performing identical work. She enters a boom, while David manages decline. Earning 28 Canadian dollars hourly with government-provided healthcare, she's part of a hiring wave filling new apartments, supporting childcare centers, and revitalizing communities viewing Amazon as economic salvation rather than corporate villainy. The tragedy isn't Jasmine's success, it's David's unnecessary suffering. He's collateral damage from a trade war supposedly designed to protect him, injured by political shrapnel from rocks thrown at commercial machinery. Amazon's migration created a template other corporations quickly followed. When the world's largest e-commerce entity demonstrated superior Canadian operational mathematics, every major retailer recalculated their own strategies. Walmart announced 2 massive Ontario distribution centers positioned along critical Toronto-Montreal corridors. Target, which spectacularly failed entering Canadian retail previously, is returning, not to open stores for Canadians, but to build logistics infrastructure serving Americans. Shopify aggressively expands, hiring thousands of engineers who might otherwise have gravitated to Silicon Valley. Even smaller companies whose products fill American pantries are relocating warehousing operations northward. The ledger doesn't lie. This pattern should alarm anyone concerned with long-term American economic health. These fulfillment centers aren't mere boxes containing other boxes. They're retail's nerve centers. Modern logistics facilities are data-driven ecosystems where physical and digital infrastructure prove inseparable. When warehouses migrate, the digital systems governing them inevitably follow. Every region recognizes that when Amazon bets on Canada, others will follow. And economic benefits compound. Workers in these facilities aren't just earning paychecks, they're building resumes of industrial competence. 10 years forward, when some launch their own logistics companies or consultancies, they'll hire locally and invest locally. That's how economic ecosystems are built, not through grand decrees, but through thousands of smaller decisions all pointing in the same direction. The most frustrating aspect of this tragedy is its preventability. Amazon didn't desire relocation. The company invested billions in American infrastructure, developing deep roots here. Moving is expensive, disruptive, and risky. But it became less risky than staying. When companies cannot predict next week's regulatory environment, when political leaders treat major employers as punching bags for cable news segments, when tax policy becomes weaponized for personal vendettas, you force choices companies would prefer avoiding. Once they pour concrete and install equipment in new countries, they don't return simply because Washington's political winds shift. Relocation decisions, once executed, become permanent. American local governments now panic, offering desperate new incentives, pleading with Amazon to stay, expand, or simply not abandon them completely. But they negotiate from profound weakness. Amazon knows it has options. Negotiations from weakness produce unaffordable concessions. Canada isn't making concessions, it's making investments. Concessions represent fearful surrenders. Investments represent confidence in future growth. Carney is betting that building North America's best, most frictionless logistics infrastructure will attract companies organically. The bet is paying off handsomely. History is littered with empires that believed themselves indispensable until the moment they were bypassed. We're watching that bypassing occur in real time. American policymakers operated on arrogant assumptions that dominance was birthright, that companies would always return because we're too significant to fail. But in globalized markets, there's always somewhere else to go. Amazon isn't loyal to flags, it's loyal to efficiency and shareholders. When America makes itself inefficient, Amazon won't mourn. It will simply relocate. The profound irony is that America First policy produced America Second reality for the logistics industry. We demanded Canada's submission, and instead, they opened their doors. Now we're left with empty loading docks, confused electorates, and hard lessons about the limits of power exercised without wisdom. The question now isn't whether this damage can be reversed, but whether we'll learn from it before the next self-inflicted wound. The law of unintended consequences never sleeps, and history is watching carefully to see if we'll finally start taking it seriously.